Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Unscaled Travel Show. I'm Jeremy Long here with my co-host, Amy.
Hi.
We are coming to you from beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada in the Diamondback Land Surveying Studios. We're so glad that you are here with us. You have so many options, and you choose, rightly or wrongly, to spend your time with us. We really appreciate that. We have a really fun show for you. We just got back from Europe, and we spent some time really kind of not only just sightseeing, but spending some time in Christmas markets in a few different countries. And we wanted to share that experience with you. We were very fortunate to hit Christmas markets not only in Switzerland, but also Austria, Germany, France,
Lichtenstein. And we went down into Italy, but unfortunately the town we stopped in did not have a market, but I know some other towns near there do. So we hit quite a few markets in 1 week, and I loved it.
Yeah. I mean, it was very much a first time for both of us to do this, but it was so much fun. It was really interesting to go around and just check out everything, and you really kind of get a sense of what these communities are like, the rest of the year. And I kept saying to you, I know I at least said it a couple of times, it's kind of weird because we are selfishly or unselfishly, we kind of, since we're based in the United States, we really only think about things in that realm, like, we have so many aspects about Christmas here that are decidedly American because we have so many fusions from different areas around the world that it's kind of strange for us at first to see other communities doing it the way they do it. And knowing that these things go back so many hundreds of years.
Right.
And where we have a lot of things, and to see where some of the stuff kind of originated from.
Yeah, some of our traditions that we've pulled from their traditions. It was really cool. I mean, over the last few years, I've been seeing more and more about these Christmas markets, and I so wanted to go to one. Yeah. And, it was such an enjoyable experience to be able to hit so many, and they were all different. That's the thing. It's like you think if you go to one, that's it, but we went to, I believe, 10 different markets, and they all had a different feel. A lot of them did offer some of the same things over and over at the different market stalls, but then they would have something unique to that market or that region. And it was just, like you said, it kind of shows you the community, and the markets were sort of a holiday expression of what that area and that community is. Yeah.
And it was just really, really fun to see and go and interact with. Now, all of these, I think there are the underpinnings of, you can start seeing where it's starting to be a little commercialized. And that's it made me sad to think, because over the last few years, especially on social media, Christmas markets have really blown up, especially European ones.
Right.
Because people are starting to use them for Instagram fodder, basically. Oh, I want this nice, view here, and it's something that not all, a whole lot of people in America are getting these views or whatever. So let me go ahead and go do this. And so you can see where bigger Christmas markets in these areas are starting to cater to that.
Yeah.
Yes, I think there is room to have stuff that is popular and secular. I can also see where it's like, okay, like we saw one while we were there, and it was on TikTok, and there's nothing wrong with social media. And I don't want to be that guy who's like, shaking a fist at the clouds here,
but you are,
but I am for a moment, because there was one where they had gondolas, and they had opened them up, and they were letting people eat inside these gondolas that are on the ground. And it's in the middle of this Christmas market. And there's a few different places that do it. This is not just one. There was one in Zurich. There was one in different areas that do the same thing. But they were charging all of this money for like a pot of fondue, which normally you go into a store, you can get a pot of fondue for like 10 francs. It's not an expensive thing. It's just cheese and bread, right? and they were charging astronomical amounts for people to do it. And you string some Christmas lights on it, and all of a sudden people are like, oh my God, it's this magical experience. And I'm like, it's not. Like, it really isn't. I mean, it looks good on video.
It does.
And that's what people are going for. And I understand that. But I hope in the next 10 years, these markets aren't so commercialized and so social media centric that it loses all of its charm. And that's where I'll leave that. And instead, we'll focus on the good parts. But it just has that feel like it could go.
Well, I'll say we went to some big markets, and then we stumbled across some smaller markets. And again, they all had a different feel, but you can tell the smaller ones were more there for the locals. Yeah. It seemed like
very much neighborhood oriented.
Right. A couple of the bigger ones we went to, you could tell there were a lot of local people there. Like, this is what they do for the holidays. They go hang out at the market after work. But you could also see a lot of tourists there. And even in one of the markets we went to, you were talking to one of the vendors, and he asked if we were there just to visit Christmas markets. And we said, well, no, that's not the only reason. He said he'd already met several Americans who were in Zurich just to go to their Christmas markets. So it has become a thing. Like, you travel to Europe to experience multiple Christmas markets, which we did, but we did other things too. But I feel like you can't just go and say, okay, I've been to this one and I'm good on Christmas markets. Like, you have to experience the big ones and the small ones. We hit some in tiny little towns. We hit some big ones. Yeah. We stumbled across some that we didn't even know were going to be there. And it was just a really cool experience.
Christmas markets are especially nothing new. The oldest ones date back to the late Middle Ages. You're talking about the 13th century, the 1200s or so. And it was a way for people to come together before winter really got into the winter is coming, into those really hard winter months. So you could stock up on provisions, vegetables, meat, whatever, and however they stored it back then, beyond me, right? But these Christmas markets, have roots in this area, especially in this region where Austria, Germany, Switzerland, France, Italy all kind of meet up and were shaped by centuries of cultural, economic, and political kind of cross-pollination, right? Cross-pollination, excuse me. But that particular corner of Europe, when you start looking at it and look at it from like a map, it was like a nexus, right, of major trade routes, strategic waterways. The Rhine River runs right through that entire area. These transit corridors pass through the Alps, so you could see where you could have these ideas and cultural and religious and economic factors all kind of, pouring into each other and crossing each other. And then these cultures kind of taking a little bit from everything that they find. And you can see where the idea starts spreading, and these peoples and these neighborhoods start having, that go beyond these local markets to further out and start reaching these different areas. So people, kind of wonder where these things come from and how they began. Well, it's kind of simple. People started trading spices, trading meats, trading recipes online on Pinterest, and then all of a sudden here you go, but the oldest ones, like I said, like Vienna's dates back to the 1200s. Wow. The one in Munich back to the 13th century. And then all of the areas around there had their own. So we're going to get into the ones that we went to. And I think, we will start in Austria when we do. So stay with us. We have a really fun show about Christmas markets, all about that fun, all about that ho, ho, ho. And that's a different show. All right, stick with us. It's an Unscaled Travel Show. We'll be right back.
Unscaled Travel Show is brought to you by Diamondback Land Surveying. For all your land surveying needs, contact Diamondback Land Surveying at 702-823-DBLS.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Unscaled Travel Show. I'm Jeremy Long, your host. Here with my co-host and co-explorer, Amy.
Hi.
Coming to you from beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada, in the Diamondback Land Surveying Studios. We're talking about Christmas markets in Europe. We had the opportunity and the pleasure to visit very, very recently, and it is a beautiful winter wonderland that you should go and explore. I hope this episode inspires you to go travel at least once to go see a lot of these Christmas markets. We're talking specifically about the area of like Eastern Switzerland, Austria, Lichtenstein, Germany, France, Italy, all these wonderful places, and you can experience these for yourself. I want to start our journey down the path that we went on in Austria. We went to a beautiful town called Feldkirch, Austria. We took a bus from Liechtenstein.
We did.
Into Austria on a whim.
Yeah, totally unplanned.
We just kind of stopped at this town and we were like, hey, this town's right here in Austria. And at first we were like, it's kind of weird because all three of these countries are so close. You really can't take a bus and a short train ride and all of a sudden be in Germany from Liechtenstein.
We hit 4 countries in one day and they were all roughly 20 to 30 minute bus rides from each other. And we just happened to stop in Feldkirch, can't say it because I had read it was a medieval town and they had a castle and you love history. And so we got off the bus in the old town and walked around a corner and there was this beautiful little Christmas market.
Yeah.
And when I say beautiful, immediately, and this is the only one that made me do this, immediately I teared up because it was such a gorgeous setting. You're in this old part of the city looking kind of down the street and there is this beautiful church at the end of the street and behind it gorgeous snow-covered mountains and I'm tearing up thinking about it now. It was so beautiful and I kept just saying it's so beautiful and you kept taking pictures and I'm sure we totally look like tourists but I didn't care. Like it was an emotional experience for me.
Yeah, it really was. And I was surprised. I was like, oh, but she's crying. What did I do? Because usually that's, something. But right at the end, and you'll see a constant theme in all of these, right? I mean, you get these things together. It's food vendors and craftsmen, selling their wares and things like that. But the thing I really liked about this particular Christmas market in Feldkirch is that it was less stressful, less huge crowds of people, it felt less kitschy.
Yeah.
It very much felt community oriented. You saw people coming in, whole families coming in,
right.
Mom, dad, kids of all ages coming in, grandparents holding hands with their grandkids walking in. It was very Hallmarkish almost.
Yes, it was. A lot of the markets would have a carousel, what this one did for the kids to ride on. But this one also had a giant gingerbread house that was for kids where they could go in and do crafts. And I think they were decorating cookies. So it was a very much family oriented. And this was the only Christmas market that we went to where we saw they had horse-drawn carriage rides through the old town. And it caught both of us by surprise. We weren't even near each other when we saw it, and we both heard the jingle of the bells on the horses and turned around and tried to catch it. I only got a small little video, but I loved this one. It was such a happy thing to stumble upon.
It really was.
Again, with this one, it was kind of spread out. So you didn't have all these stalls that you're walking between. They kind of had just a line of stalls in the middle of the street that you could come at from both sides. And then it curved and went down another street. So it was unlike some of the other markets where you had stalls facing each other and just people on all sides of you. This one did feel a little bit more spread out and relaxed.
Yeah. It was definitely one of those, it jumps high on the list of ones that we visited for me. For that, if nothing else. Now, the other ones, obviously, I mean, if you're in the middle of downtown Zurich, you're going to have more crowds. You're going to have, especially like tourists come in. But as far as I could tell, we were some of the only few, or at least we stood out.
We did.
Amongst. And it was one of the rare ones that they only accepted like cash.
Right. That's what I was going to say. Some of the markets were cashless. They wanted you to use a card. This one, they wanted cash, and you had to go find an ATM because we did not have any euros because we had come from Switzerland where they use Swiss francs. So you had to go find an ATM to pay for the drinks I was already holding because nobody told us.
Yeah. So I had to track down this. I'm not going to lie. When you're in a medieval town and you're looking for an ATM, I just made up in my mind, like, I'm going to get ripped off. I'm going to either lose my bank card. I'm trying to use Chase Bank in the middle of Austria. By the way, Chase Bank, hey, there you go. Worked perfectly fine. And I've been monitoring our account. And I'm like, I haven't seen anything sketchy going on there. So, you know what? Worked fine. Also, there was a nice little holiday drink I discovered.
Oh, right.
What was it called? It was called
a flying kirch.
A flying kirch.
Which it was on the menu for this little stand that served hot beverages. I asked for a hot chocolate. They were just getting open, so she didn't have hot chocolate. So she gave me a warm rum punch, which was very, very good. Mm-hmm. And you were like, I'll take this first thing. It's a flying kirch. And what did it end up being? She thought
she was introducing me to something new. That's what the fun part was. Because she was like, oh, this is Red Bull. And I thought I misheard her at first. I was like, Red Bull? I was like, okay, Red Bull. And they serve it all these little cute little mugs, by the way, these beautiful little mugs. Ceramic mug, too. This wasn't a plastic cup. And you could walk around and drink that, which was the best part. But Red Bull, and I was like, okay. And then she turns around with a little bottle, a little green bottle. And already I know.
Very distinctive little green bottle.
I know some of you already know what I'm talking about. A little distinctive green bottle. And on the front of it, she goes, this is something we call Jägermeister. And I was like, oh, honey. Red Bull and Jägermeister. She's like, oh yeah. And I was like, no, this is what we in the States call a Jaeger bomb. And believe me, my college years were spent both consuming and throwing this stuff up. So I at like what
it was like 1:30 in the afternoon, and you looked at me because you're like, yeah, I'll drink it. And then you looked at me and whispered under your breath, what am I doing?
We're having Jaeger bombs for lunch at a Christmas market in Austria, and that is the best time anyone can have anywhere. And I was walking around drinking it out of a ceramic cup, like, like this is.
It was so funny. And you drank it fast.
Oh, well, it was a shot. You're supposed to drink it fast.
It was there and then it was gone.
It's not a sipping drink.
Mine was a sipping drink. It was wonderful.
Well, that was fun. Yeah. So by and large, the Feldkirch Christmas Market is very high on our list. Wonderful place to go. And I highly recommend it. Mark it down on your map. It's the Unscaled Travel Show. We'll be right back.
Unscaled Travel Show is brought to you by Diamondback Land Surveying. For all your land surveying needs, contact Diamondback Land Surveying at 702-823-DBLS.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Unscaled Travel Show. I'm Jeremy Long. This is Amy.
Hi.
Well, that's the sound of her voice. We're talking about wonderful Christmas markets we were able to visit in Europe in our time very recently. For all of our past episodes and interviews, especially Christmas holiday episodes, there's all kinds of stuff. Unscaledtravelshow.com. And you can find us also on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, if you happen to miss a show. So, do that. And thank you to everyone who has. We appreciate that. We're getting new followers.
Show? Everyone who's missed a show?
Yes. Probably thinking to yourself, thanks. Thank you, self. We were talking Christmas markets. We were mentioned our time in Austria. And then we left that Christmas market. Okay. Great Christmas market in Austria. hopped a quick train ride. Not very far at all, man. And it's amazing how fast. I mean, we mentioned several times there how close these countries are together, but we took a short train ride into Lichtenstein. From there, a very short, maybe 20, 25-minute bus ride into Austria. And from there, maybe a 45-minute train ride into Germany.
Right.
For our next market.
And I think the only reason that one was 45 minutes was because we were going to a very specific island that the train stops at. And so we had to go up to the mainland and then curve over to the island. But I had read about this little town. I didn't know that they had a Christmas market until we were looking to leave Austria. And I was like, do you want to go up into Germany? And you're like, yeah, sure. And I was like, well, there's this cute little island that we can go to. And I pulled up their website, and on the homepage, it said that they have Lindau's Harbor Christmas. And it's supposedly one of the most beautiful Christmas markets in Germany, according to them. And now that I've seen it, I haven't seen any other Christmas markets in Germany, but I'm going to say it is one of the most beautiful. It was gorgeous. Yeah,
the Lindau Harbor Christmas Market is unique in that aspect. It's right there on the harbor of this little part of town, where's the marina and, kind of this like master planned island thingy that kind of juts out from the main part of the city. And it is gorgeous.
It was.
On the water. It is super popular. Number one. So yes, it's actually really spread out. It was really like a really big Christmas market.
It was much bigger than I thought it was going to be. We kept walking and it would branch off this direction and branch off that direction. And then we'd keep going and it would branch off in two more directions. It was probably the biggest one space-wise that we came across. Yeah. And it was crowded because there were a lot of people on the train from Austria that rode the train with us to Lindau to go to the market. Because the thing about where this market's located and where the train stop is, the train literally stops right outside the market. And everybody got off and walked together from the train to the market. But because of the location of the island, they do recommend that you don't drive, that you do take public transportation, whether it's a train or even a ferry from one of the other coastal cities. So it was a bit crowded, but it was so big that we were able to kind of separate ourselves out from the kind of crowded central locations.
Yeah. And this is, since it's a bigger one, more crowds, but it also seemed when you went from vendor to vendor, it was a lot of them contactless. They wanted credit card payments, not a whole lot of cash being exchanged in these places, which is more on par with what I saw overall. So you just have to, most of these places have their Christmas markets online. They've been around for a while. They're with it. They're hip, right? So you just need to check and see, like, because even something as people may not think about the parking situation, driving up and parking. So even listing that and having that information, if you're driving around, if you have rented a car, which is very easy to do in that part of Europe, you might not think about it, but yeah, parking was an extreme premium over there. So taking the train made sense.
I didn't really see any parking because you and I even walked out of the official Christmas market and just around their little old town area, which was still decorated with Christmas lights and trees. Yeah. And it was just lovely to walk around there. It's definitely somewhere I want to go back in maybe the springtime and see it, in a different season because it was so beautiful, but not a lot of parking.
That's a good point, though. Kind of going back to how other places in the city were just super decorated.
Right.
And that wasn't only in this area. I mean, we saw that a lot in Zurich. We saw that in Lucerne. We saw that in Engelberg.
Strasbourg,
and all these places that we visited away from the Christmas markets. The cities just seem to really get into it.
They do.
But you did point out something very quickly when it comes to like the Christmas and Christmas lights, that their lighting is very like plain. It's like white lights or like slightly yellow, kind of those off whites.
You don't see a lot of multicolored Christmas lights anywhere. Even when we were riding the trains through the countryside or even the city, And the few houses that were decorated, they all decorate with white lights, and not the bright white. It's the warm light.
Like
so
the
they have like a
soft, warm
yellow
light.
glow. But the cities all would have lights strung over the streets, and it's all the same golden hue.
No, and you would think like, okay, I can understand cities getting together and saying, okay, we're going to have this one aesthetic and everything. But you pointed out, and what we saw on trains, individual houses, they had the same lights.
Yeah.
And like we could go into our neighborhood in our area right now and see houses decorated up with different lights and multicolored lights. And that's normal. And over there, I was like, you're right. Once you pointed it out, I kept looking for like, where's the red and green and all the bright. No, it's all the same.
It was a lot of, they decorate with live evergreens. So there were evergreen branches and wreaths and garland and giant trees everywhere, all strung with white lights. And then some would have maybe red bows. They didn't use a lot of, I would say, modern colors. It's almost like very traditional Christmas decor. But the other thing I thought was interesting was each town kind of had their signature design. So like when we went to Lucerne, they had crowns. Like their things were lit with crowns. Basel with stars. Like every single town kind of had their own Christmas identity.
I like it, man. Oh, I already miss it. All right, we're talking Christmas markets in Europe that we have got to, or we've already visited.
We have to go back.
It's Unscaled Travel Show. We'll be right back.
Unscaled Travel Show is brought to you by Diamondback Land Surveying. For all your land surveying needs, contact Diamondback Land Surveying at 702-823-DBLS.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Unscaled Travel Show. Forgot what I was doing. I'm Jeremy Long, here with my co-explorer, Amy.
Hello.
For all of our past episodes, interviews, check us out, unscaledtravelshow.com. We're talking about beautiful Christmas markets. Currently, we're discussing Lindau. Lindau, Germany, has a gorgeous harbor Christmas market. It's very unique in that aspect. It sits, if you are wondering where Lindau, Germany it sits on Lake Constance, which is a huge lake, and that touches, I think, 2 or 3 countries. But you can take lake cruises and all kinds of stuff. In fact, we saw a boat pulling up into the harbor as we just arrived at the Christmas market. A really incredible and unique market, I think, because of its location and its popularity.
Right.
And the fact that they actually had I want to say the best food I had in Europe on this trip.
Yeah, it was so good.
And I don't know what you call this variety of sausage. And all it was like a sausage roll. That was it.
Just sausage and this
big sausage
roll.
And a piece of bread. And I was in heaven.
Well, first we stood in line at a different stall because there was one of the few stalls that had a line, and I was like, what is it that everybody's getting? And when we got a little bit closer. And there's a rule
that if a stall has a line, it's with good reason.
Exactly.
Okay.
So we got a little bit closer, and it too was a sausage roll. But when we saw it, we collectively decided we could not eat that in public because the sausage itself was about 18 inches long, which is pretty long. And it was on a normal hot dog bun. So in the middle was the hot dog bun, the sausage hanging off the front and back ends. And people are holding this sausage up in the air and eating it very provocatively. And we couldn't do it. We talked about doing it like Lady and the Tramp, coming at it from both sides and meeting in the middle. But
number one, we did not talk about that. You mentioned that.
We joked about it.
You mentioned that.
So
I was like, I can't have video of me doing that.
So we end up walking a few stalls over, and we come to another sausage stall, which you took a picture with the giant sausage statue outside the stall. But they were right there with a grill grilling these sausages like we do here in the States. So like think of a grilled sausage link. The guy did not speak English. He said he spoke Dutch, French, and Romanian. So we were communicating by hand gestures.
I think he was joking with you. He spoke all of those, but answered you in perfect English.
No, he kept getting the other guy to answer me in English. But we had to wait like 15 minutes while they grilled up the sausage for us. And then we went around the corner and sat down. And I am not exaggerating when I say this was the best sausage I've ever had.
Yeah.
It was so good.
That was a heck of a wiener. It really was some of the best food we had over there. And it was just a simple thing. But yeah, I mean, we sat there and we got a beer, a huge beer that we split between us, 2 pieces of sausage and bread. And that was a meal, baby.
That was dinner.
That was a heck of a meal,
well,
too.
And the thing, too, is Germany is less expensive than Switzerland. So it was probably one of the cheapest meals that we had our whole week we were over there. And it was, in my opinion, the best meal that we had, too.
Yeah. And they had all kinds of stuff there. It's not just the vendors. And, of course, every market's going to be a little bit different. But this particular market in Lindau had a stage set up. And they had some choir performances from youngsters. And I don't know if it was the local school or the local church. Some of the markets in different areas had different activities going on. But they had all kinds of things going on. They had games. They had a kids-only area. They made it look like a magical forest.
Yeah.
And had different areas like where fairies were set up and different. It looked really, really fun. So it definitely was a family affair that you could check out. And I highly, highly recommend Lindau if you are going over there in that area to check out Christmas markets, especially in Germany. Take the train ride, go down there, check it out. You're going to get that very unique setting that it's right on the water. A lot of boat themed activities as well, especially more in the daytime. I would say when it turns night, they kind of focus on the land, but it was wonderful just to walk around, the shops being open. I loved walking the back streets and just seeing they did have some name brand stores there. I think I saw, some name brand stores, but they also had a lot of mom and pop shops,
right? Which
to me was really awesome to see that people were in there in every single one of these stores, like shopping. If nothing else, they were looking around inside the shops at stores that probably don't get the typical traffic that other ones do. So, and to me, that's a big point of a lot of these markets in smaller areas.
Yeah, it was so much fun. It is tied for my favorite market that we went to.
You have some favorites.
I have 2 favorites. I do. And this is one of them. Yeah.
Another one that we kind of shifted to was Strasbourg, France.
Yes.
Often called the capital of Christmas. It has probably the most beautiful Christmas market backdrop, which is the Cathedral Notre Dame de Strasbourg. If you didn't know there were 2 Notre Dame cathedrals, now you do. And this one, to me, is just as impressive as Notre Dame in Paris.
We wanted to go in, and the line was so long, it literally wrapped around the building, so we weren't able to go in. But I have so many pictures of the beautiful market and looking up to the cathedral behind it. It was gorgeous.
To me, as far as, if you don't take natural landscape into it, this had the most stunning backdrop because you had a beautiful Christmas carousel. Kids were riding and things. And then right behind it, rising up hundreds of feet into the air, you have this insane cathedral right behind it. And people are just like, that's every day. Right. Every day we have a cathedral that dates back to the 1200s, looking all gothic and gargoyle-y and things like that. And boom, you had Christmas market 3 steps away is Santa Claus. Talking to kids and doing all that. And it was so much fun to visit.
It really was. And their Christmas market, I don't know if it's all considered one or if it was separate Christmas markets, but we walked a little bit away from that area and we were still in a Christmas market and walked around another corner, still in a Christmas market. So it was almost like the whole downtown area of this city was Christmas market.
It was huge. It was huge. We're going to continue to talk about its Unscaled Travel Show. We'll be right back.
Unscaled Travel Show is brought to you by Diamondback Land Surveying. For all your land surveying needs, contact Diamondback Land Surveying at 702-823-DBLS.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Unscaled Travel Show. I'm Jeremy Long here with my co-explorer, Amy.
Hi.
Coming to you from beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada in the Diamondback Land Surveying Studios. For all of our past episodes and interviews, check us out, unscaledtravelshow.com. And it's that time of the year we're talking about Christmas markets, especially some of the ones we just visited in Europe. Lucky opportunity for us. It just kind of fell into that. Because at first, I mean, whenever we booked our trip, we were originally just going to go to Switzerland, and we just started looking around going, hey, I didn't even realize that it's that time of the year for Christmas markets.
Right.
And the week we were to go would be opening week for a lot of them.
Yes. And I think that's something to point out. They don't all start on the same day.
Yeah.
Some of these start at the end of November. Some of them were starting a few days after we left. So we did see several more that were being built as we were walking around. Mm-hmm. So wherever you're going, check the dates of that particular Christmas market because it may not be open. But I think because we were there early in the season is part of why they weren't so crowded, because you did see video of one that's in a different one in France than the one we went to that was packed with people, but there were very few we went to that felt overly crowded.
Mm-hmm. That one was I think Colmar in France, which is just below Strasbourg, but it's getting all this like social media love right now, which I love when smaller cities do get that love. But the videos coming out of there were like showing wall-to-wall people, these little towns who don't have those kind of crowds. And then all of a sudden they have this huge influx of people around a certain time. You know, you just have to be patient.
Right.
Sometimes you just got to be patient, moving around, moving through these small streets that, I mean, a lot of these streets go back 1,000 years. They didn't anticipate, you know, not only the number of people, but also the size of people. We've gotten considerably larger.
Well, when we went to Strasbourg, we didn't even know the Christmas market was happening there. I just wanted to go because I've always heard how beautiful it is, seen photos of the part of the town, the old part of the town that they call like Petite France.
Yeah.
And it is medieval. Think the Disney cartoon Beauty and the Beast. Like this is what it kind of looks like, the village. And so we went there and we walked around a little bit of it. And then we realized, oh, there's a Christmas market here. So we tried something we've never tried before, which was a mulled wine. I know this is very big in Europe. Hot wine, mulled wine. It there's different kinds. They do red wines, white wines. They put different spices in them and things. And you tried it first. The lady's like, do you want to try it before you buy it? And you said, sure.
Yeah. And the little sample she gave me, actually, it wasn't bad. Now, number one, when they say hot wine, they ain't lying. This stuff burn your face, right? burn the flesh off of your body kind of hot. Like,
it's like boiling.
Remember
hot.
Years ago, that old lady who sued McDonald's because the coffee was hot, okay, and it spilled on her? This is that kind of temperature, I imagine, because
you burnt your lips so bad you were cussing.
I wanted to cuss at her. But
well,
it was
she
Christmas.
said it's hot, and you go, yeah, it's hot, and then you sipped it, and you like jerked, and she's like, it's hot.
She said in perfect English, "You're dumb." I was like, wow. It was very hot. The little bit she gave me, though, this was infused with orange. It was a white wine, and they had pieces of orange and lemon in it. I will say, I will just cut to the chase here and say, I'm not a fan.
I wasn't a fan either. Mine had a lot of lemon chunks in it, so it tasted like an unsweet lemonade.
Yeah.
A hot, unsweet lemonade.
Burn your flesh, hot lemonade. And it wasn't even that. It was just more like, I guess I wasn't used to it. You know, it just wasn't my thing. But everyone, and almost every Christmas market had some version of it.
Yeah.
And it's very big over there, but it's just hot wine. And if you're not like a regular wine drinker, I don't like whites, I like reds. So when I do drink it, that kind of thing. So I tried it because I just wanted to try something new. Don't regret it, but I definitely didn't drink all of it. So, but like I said, the Christmas market there in Strasbourg probably has the most beautiful backdrop of any Christmas market. It was a large family style market, but it was a weird mix of a lot of people going to see the cathedral, and being in lines that looked like they stretched for about an hour to go see this, because it in itself is probably very popular away from Christmas time. But this time of the year with the Christmas market right up next to it, seemed like it was even more popular.
I mean, there was the cathedral, there was the part of the city that's on the water that's very photographable. So we saw all these people standing. We even got in line ourselves to take some of these Instagram-worthy photos of these very, very old buildings. A lot of the restaurants were completely booked, and you had to have reservations.
Reservation
and if you
only.
didn't, sorry, you weren't getting in. We did find one.
We got the French wave off several times.
We did.
Reservation? No, go. That one guy, he was like, no. He
waved us away and turned his back.
I was like, all right.
So we did find our way to another restaurant that served like old school French food. And by that, they meant like French peasant food. So we tried something we'd never heard of before. So what they're known for, that is called bake-off.
Bake-off, yeah. And weirdly enough, that's what the restaurant's called. It's called Le Bake-Off d'Alsace. It's bake-off from the Alsace region of France there, which is traditionally the meal is oven-baked meat with vegetables, basically.
It's stew.
It's a stew. It's like the thing that got me about it wasn't even that. So that goes back, again, one of these things that goes back all of these years, because French women with families would drop off these baking pots, kind of like what do you cook in now?
Oh, a Dutch oven?
Yeah, like a Dutch oven, basically, to the bakers. And the baker would put meat and vegetables like onion and carrot and whatever in these things. And by the end of the day, these meals would be cooked, and the women would come back with the kids and laundry and everything else they had to do because men, right? And they would just pick these things up, and it's like, there's your dinner. Your dinner's ready at the end of the day. So that's where the bake-off tradition comes from. To me, not my favorite thing because, it was like just a stew, but also it had no seasoning.
Yeah, there was zero seasoning in it. We just added a little salt and pepper, and it did very much help. But it was 3 kinds of meat, and one of the meats I could not bring myself to try.
It was like pig intestines.
They call it pig trotter, which is intestines. I couldn't do it. So I ate some of I think it was lamb that was in there, and some potatoes and carrots.
That was good.
It was interesting.
We
tried it.
I also ordered an apple tart.
You did.
Do you remember this apple tart?
I do.
How could you forget this apple tart?
I did not forget it. I want to forget it.
I thought it was going to be a little piece of dessert.
I did too.
Or even big enough that we could share. That'd be totally fine. Instead, what I got was a Flintstone style, big brontosaurus size tart.
It was like a flatbread pizza.
It was a flatbread apple tart pizza.
Instead of pizza sauce, it was like a cream with sliced apples on it.
It was huge.
It was big. We didn't even eat half of it.
People, now you're stuffed inside this restaurant, right? There's all kinds of tables in this restaurant, and everyone was staring at our table, wondering what did these fat Americans order? And that was it. A giant apple tart, apparently. I didn't know I needed to ask for the small size. Now I know. So stay with this Unscaled Travel Show talking about Christmas markets in Europe. We'll be right back.
Unscaled Travel Show is brought to you by Diamondback Land Surveying. For all your land surveying needs, contact Diamondback Land Surveying at 702-823-DBLS.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Unscaled Travel Show. I'm Jeremy Long here with Amy.
Hi.
Coming to you from beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada in the Diamondback Land Surveying Studios. Talking about Eastern European Christmas markets that we got to visit on our trip to Switzerland, where we had 6 different countries in just a matter of days. Although we weren't really chasing Christmas markets, it really felt at one point that we kind of were just stumbling upon them because of the time of the year.
Yeah, I really think in this part of the world, every little town has their own Christmas market. Yeah. We were on trains passing small towns, and you could see Christmas markets in their like kind of square areas. So I think if you're just in this part of Europe in December, you will stumble across a number of Christmas markets too.
About an hour and a half north of Zurich, Switzerland, is a place called Basel. Basel, Switzerland, has one of the largest and prettiest, depending on who you ask, prettiest Christmas markets out there. Often featured in top travel publications as best Christmas markets in the world. You'll most times see Basel listed somewhere on that list. And it really wasn't a difference. I think the thing that hindered our trip is that we ran into some weather. Yeah. And it was raining when we visited Basel. And, from the time we got there early in the morning until late at night when we left, it just kind of rained off and on.
It rained all day.
We were hoping for snow, and it was that kind of cold. And at one point, I think we got like some snow slush, but it never really solidified. And so we just kind of got a rainy Christmas, which a lot of people, if you're just going for that Instagram look, you're going to be disappointed. But it actually turns out when the ground's wet and people are walking around, there's a kind of a certain magic to it because everyone's got these fun and festive umbrellas and walking around, and it didn't damper anyone's spirits there. Mm-mm. People were still crowded around and eating and laughing, and we saw all kinds of festivities going on still in the rain. And it was still a gorgeous place to walk around because the unique thing in Basel is that they have different areas. Mm-hmm. Right. So they have even if, again, all of these places have websites, right? So they count them as these 3 different areas as one big Christmas market. And that's if you go to the Münsterplatz area, the Barfußer Platz area, and the Klaraplatz area.
I love that you're trying to say these words.
I'm trying, and I know I'm failing, but I'm doing my best here, right? But we were counting them as individual markets.
Right.
But then they consider them all one, but they're in different locations.
They're all very close to each other.
They're very close to each other.
I mean, we walked from one to another.
But if you would look at it, you would go, okay, these are separate markets.
Right.
But no, they consider them all one big market, just in kind of different areas within walking distance of each other.
So this is all in what they call Old Basel, and it's the old cobblestone alleyways and streets. Again, looks like
gorgeous.
A Disney fairy tale.
Yes.
We even went into a cinnamon roll shop that morning and talked to a local and asked him, where should we go? And he's like, you just have to walk up and down these alleys and see how gorgeous it is. And he's like, and you have to go over to the church, which we had just come from the church, because it's just so beautiful.
Yeah.
And when we were standing outside the church, there was a children's choir inside practicing. And it was so sweet to hear it. We stood there for a few minutes just listening to them singing Christmas carols.
Yeah. That was really just a wonderful highlight there. I mean, it was kind of raining and everything, but just hearing them, we stood there for a minute just listening to this kids' choir practice before. And you saw signs everywhere, like their performance was coming up in a couple of days. And I wish we could have been there to see it because they sounded so good. And that's our time in Basel, which kind of correlates with our time in Zurich as well. Zurich is unique in that aspect that it's a bigger city, obviously, and it has about 10 Christmas markets.
I would venture
official
to say,
ones.
yeah, I would venture to say it's probably closer to 20 because they're
Probably.
we would just be walking down a street and there'd be another one set up. And I don't know if they're all technically one, kind of like with Basel, where 3 different areas are considered one. Mm-hmm. But I think we just, while we were there, went to like 5 different ones.
Yeah. And a few of the ones, I think you have a favorite of the ones we went to. So,
why don't you name some of the ones we went to, and I'll tell you which one's my favorite.
I can't say them. They have, and they're often named after the areas that they're in. So the Zurich Sechel Lattenplatz. That's probably my best guess at how to say this. I did it very poorly, but that's by the Opera House. It's right outside of the Opera House in Zurich.
And that was my favorite. It is tied with the Lindau Harbor Christmas for best Christmas market we went to. Mm-hmm. So this is in kind of the plaza area in front of their Opera House, right on the water. Gorgeous. It had the most beautiful tall Christmas tree in the middle, and all the market lights were coming off of this Christmas tree strung over.
That had to be a 40-foot tall Christmas tree.
It was huge. It was huge. This market just had such a great feeling and vibe. And the thing I really liked about this one was they had built a lot of places for people to sit and hang out. A lot of these markets, it's just stalls. There are no tables or chairs. You get your food and you go. This one had a lot of places to sit and linger, and it even had built out some like pop-up restaurants out of these wooden chalets. So you saw a lot of local people just hanging out there.
Yeah, the best thing I think about this particular market, and some of these, I didn't notice at all of them, but this one, these aren't just, when we talk about vendors, they weren't just setting up little white tables and putting a tablecloth on it. They actually built out chalets and, different buildings to make them look like Christmas buildings, and all kind of not uniform either. They all just had a theme. It was all a Christmas look to every single little vendor area, so that you really were, when just walking around, you felt immersed. You were actually in a Christmas village walking around, instead of just like, when you would go to a Christmas celebration here in Las Vegas, you would just see vendors with a table and like some kegs set up and serving you beer or something like that under a tent. No, these were actual buildings.
Yeah.
And they all looked good and looked like they all fit the part.
This one was so great that we tried to go back the next day, and it had started raining again.
Yeah,
but we wanted,
like a thunderstorm.
Yeah, we wanted to go back and experience this one a second time. It was so fantastic.
There's also a really great one, a really popular one in Zurich's Old Town. Mm-hmm. And we set up and went there more, it was like early evening whenever we were there, but we also got some great food to eat. Including some awesome mini pancakes.
Yeah.
The mini pancakes were the highlight for me.
So good.
Oh my gosh, they were so soft and fluffy. And the lady let me videotape her as she made these, and was kind of laughing like, I don't know why you want to film me doing what I'm doing, but I'm like, this is amazing to me. I want one of these griddles.
Yeah, we had those, and we had some dumplings.
Yeah. Some dumplings.
It was just really great food.
It was fun. They also have a very unique one. Probably the most unique one is the Zurich main station one. Now, this is actually inside the main train station in Zurich, like right in the center area. They have this huge Christmas market celebration going on, where it's a weird mix of people running to trains, trying to catch the train, and other people eating churros.
Right.
Which we did find churros.
We did get churros, yes. Yeah, no, that one was fun because as we were coming in from some of our other day trips, we stopped in at this market in the train station a couple of times and picked up something to take back to our hotel with us. So it was a really convenient one. But the one I think probably stands out the most in like being original was across the street at their National Museum.
Yeah.
And this one was called Illuminarium.
If you search on TikTok or Instagram right now, you will see all kinds of videos coming up because they had projections up on these beautiful old buildings. I mean, these buildings are probably centuries old, and they have all these things illuminated on the side, huge displays for kids, huge shows for kids. So very much family oriented.
Yeah.
That you could bring small ones, little ones in there. And, just kind of walking in. Now, the illuminarium part was separate. Mm-hmm. It cost an extra ticket.
Yeah, so it was free to get into the market. And it's not a big market, but it is completely surrounded by Christmas lights in a different way. It's just a totally different experience. But you did have the option to go in and see the light show itself inside the building.
Yeah, but like you said, I think Zurich probably had 20 or so markets that are just unaccounted for right now. But we had so much fun chasing Christmas markets in that part of Europe. And I highly recommend it. If you ever get the chance, please go there. Please see the Christmas markets.
We're going back next year.
Film it for TikTok, if it still exists here. It's Unscaled Travel Show. We'll see you guys next time.